predictions for November. I have excellent news this time, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very, very warm namaste. Aham Brahmasmi. So here I am, we're gonna do November predictions, and I'm really sorry that my video this time for the monthly predictions is so late. Normally I put it out pretty soon, but the last few weeks have been really busy with all the Hindu festivals of Navratri, Dasera, so been really busy, but of course I was gonna do my predictions, so here I am now. With my November predictions, and the reason I'm really excited to do these predictions this month is because I have a lot of good news for a lot of ascendants. I was getting tired of doing all those gloomy and bad gloom and doom predictions the last few months. This month the predictions look good for a lot of the ascendants that have been suffering for so long, so we're going to do predictions. Before I move forward with predictions, my first and foremost, I have to wish all my viewers that celebrate Diwali a very, very happy Diwali. November 12th is when we're all going to celebrate Diwali. So all the Hindus and the Sanatan religion followers that celebrate Diwali, I want to wish you all a very, very happy Diwali. May the goddess bless you with all of her best blessings of prosperity, happiness, and success for the next year. Now, all the people that follow different faiths that don't celebrate Diwali, as such, you can also say your prayer on the 9th of November 12th and ask your own divine to bless you as well on that day. The reason I say that is that night is very potent. The energy in the environment is extremely potent to give you blessings. You don't have to pray to a god or a goddess that you don't have the faith in, but you can certainly pray to your own divine and ask for blessings, because that is a night, like I said, the energy of the planets is extremely potent. So pray to your own divine and ask your own divine to bless you. November 12th in the evening, do that and ask for blessings of your own divine that night as well. Moving forward, before I do my predictions, I always like to wish the people that have asked me to wish them for the November birthdays. So I have a few people, I'm just going to wish them a happy birthday. So happy birthday to Raj Ratna, Cherry Chu, Connie Strada, Voice of Venkatesh Retro Cafe, that's his YouTube handle, and Reshma Baptiste. So happy birthday all of you, but also a very, 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 very happy birthday to all the people, all my viewers that have November birthdays. May this new year, your personal new year, be filled with happiness, prosperity, success, and of course love. I'm wishing that my divine blesses you as well. So all your wishes are granted in the coming new year. Celebrate your birthday with a lot of happiness. I have a video out that I put out a couple of years ago on the best things that you can do on your birthday. Make sure you watch that video and celebrate it with a lot of happiness. Okay, let's move on to predictions. So we need to first take a look at all the planets and what they're doing and why I'm so excited and what the good news is about November. Quickly take a look at the planetary transits. So very early in the month on November 2nd, Venus is going to move on to the next zodiac sign of Virgo. It's only going to stay there a very short time on November 29th. It's going to move on to Libra, which is its own sign. Wonderful things for December coming up, but even good for November. Shortly thereafter, Mercury on November 6th is going to move to Scorpio, and very short time again on November 26th, it moves on to Sagittarius. So Venus and Mercury are going to stay in their zodiac signs for a very short time. They have two transits in November. And then on November 16th, Mars decides it's going to go to Scorpio too. Mars owns Scorpio, so it's going to be in its own sign. November 17th, Sun has a transit, always has a transit in the middle of the month, so the Sun will move to Scorpio too. And so did you notice that there's going to be 3 planets in Scorpio after the middle of the month. So it's going to be Mercury, Mars, and Sun are all going to be in Scorpio. Now that actually means that Mercury and Mars are going going to be very close to the sun, so they're both going to be combust. Both of them are combust even now. Combust means that the planet is too close to the sun, and so that's why it kind of is not able to give its best impact. Mars, and you know, the reason that Mars is combust right now is because it's close to the sun. Mars represents a lot of the anger, volatility, frustration, fighting, and you see that it's been combust for a while because it's been very close to the sun. The sun represents our ego. Mars represents fighting and anger, like I said. Mars also represents the armed forces, people that wear uniforms. So when Mars and sun get together, it's extremely volatile because they're both very fiery, hot, fire planets, and so you can see the impact of that in the world right now. There's a lot of fighting going on. There's a lot of suppressed anger that's bursting out, and that's because of the fact that the sun and Mars are together, and Mars is actually combust. It's very close to the sun, and so Mars is unable to give benefic results. It's only giving its malefic results right now. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And so those are the transits for this month. Now, the good news that I'm very excited about is that on November 4th, finally Saturn, that's been retrograde for so many past months, Saturn starts its direct movement in Aquarius. It's been in Aquarius since January, but now it starts its direct movement finally. And so Saturn, when Saturn is retrograde, it's not able to give a lot of the good impact that Saturn is capable of giving. I know a lot of people just thought, well, Saturn doesn't even good impact. Saturn is capable of really good impact in your career. So Saturn generally represents our career. When Saturn is well placed in somebody's chart, it can, you know, give you really good heights, raise you to a very good height in your career. So a well placed Saturn can actually give you amazingly good results. Now, when Saturn goes retrograde, it kind of delays giving results. So now that Saturn's moving direct, all of you people that were waiting to see some of the good impact in your career can now expect to see that, because now Saturn is able to give its favorable impact. So a retrograde Saturn kind of stalls giving the impact, so it slows down the impact. As it moves forward in direct motion, we can expect some good movement in our careers, especially if it had been stalled over the last few months. The other amazing impact is that on October 30th, the Rahu and Ketu transited to their backward movement. So Rahu went back into Pisces, Ketu went back into Virgo. So what had been going on when Rahu was in Aries was that Rahu was conjunct with Jupiter and was forming the very dreaded Guru Chandal Yoga. Made a video on that many months ago. So when Rahu is conjunct with Jupiter, Jupiter is unable to give its benefic results also. Now on October 30th, Rahu is away from Jupiter. Now it's going to be in a different sign. So Jupiter stays in Aries, but Rahu goes off to Pisces. So the Guru Chandal Yoga is finally broken. It's finally broken. So at least Jupiter, even though Jupiter is retrograde, Jupiter is at least not conjunct with the devil Rahu, so it's able to give some of its benefic results. Jupiter is going to stay retrograde till the end of the year, so at least it's free from the clutches of Rahu, so it gets a little better, although it's still retrograde. The main benefic impact of Jupiter being in Aries is going to be after January, when Jupiter starts its direct motion. But at least for now, the good news is the Guru Chandal Yoga is finally broken, and we're going to see the impact of that in November as well. So now you know why I'm very excited about November is Saturn is direct, no more Guru Chandal Yoga. Now, you'll hear it in my predictions. I'm predicting a lot of good things for a lot of ascendants. But who are the ascendants that this was really bothering the most? So there's a few ascendants that were really challenged during these phases of the Saturn and the Guru Chandal Yoga. So there's a couple of ascendants that were really troubled. Well, obviously Aries and Virgo were very troubled by the Guru Chandal Yoga, as well as the placement of Saturn going retrograde. But and the second worst, well, I don't know who was worse, but it depends on your own birth chart as well. But the one ascendant that was really troubled was Aquarius, because Saturn was retrograde in their own ascendant house. So they were really suffering from a lot of problems, mainly their health and their body was probably had a lot of issues going on. And then the other, but there was one ascendant that was the most troubled, and that was Cancer. So Cancer can expect major relief, major relief, especially in their careers. So in the last several months, the most charts that I've been coming or seeing, and the most clients that have been coming to me have been for Cancer ascendants, and it's because a lot of Cancer ascendants are facing trouble in their jobs, or they're losing their jobs. So, and that is because of Saturn being retrograde in their 8th house, as well as the Guru Chandal Yoga being formed in their house of their career. Finally, they get relief. So, Saturn is still in their 8th house, so they may still feel a lot of pressure, but at least it's not as bad as it has been in the last few months. So, expect a lot of relief for a lot of ascendants. Not just the ascendants I mentioned, but for a lot of the other ascendants also. You'll hear it in my predictions. I'm predicting a lot of good things happen. Now, before I even go on to predictions, I have to mention a couple of the aspects that are going on, because certain zodiacs are getting aspected by the placement of certain planets. So Jupiter and Saturn are both aspecting Leo. So when there's a double aspect of both Jupiter and Saturn on a certain ascendant, then that ascendant can expect some major events in their life. I'm not saying they're bad events or good events. They just have a change. Some changes in their life can occur, or a major event can occur. What events occur obviously depend on their own birth chart, but Leo has a double aspect of Jupiter and Saturn at this time. So it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It could also be very good things. So Leo has that double aspect. But now when Mars goes into Scorpio, one of the things that's going to happen is that because Saturn is in Aquarius, so Saturn is going to have its 10th aspect on Mars. And Mars has the 4th aspect on Saturn. So both Mars and Saturn are sworn enemies, and now they're going to be aspecting each other from Scorpio and Aquarius. So we're going to expect a little bit of that. It's a challenge. What is the challenge? And the reason for that is that we'll talk about Saturn denotes rules and regulations. Saturn is a very slow planet. Saturn is a thinker. It's karmic, meaning it thinks before it does anything, because it's very focused on karma. So Saturn wants to only do things that are good for karma, good karmic things. And it's very disciplined, it's very rigid, it thinks, and it's slow to move. It doesn't act rashly. Mars, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. So Mars is very impulsive, it's very rash, it has fire, it moves fast, and it doesn't even think before doing things. So a malefic Mars makes you act very impulsively, rashly, without thinking. So how you see how they're completely opposite energies. And so when they aspect each other, it's like two enemies aspecting each other. It's like two diverse energies aspecting each other. And what happens then is that we feel provoked. All of us are going to have this a little bit of an energy where we're going to feel provoked by others. And the provocation is going to be intense, where we probably have a little bit of pent-up anger issues, just like a combust Mars has pent-up anger, resentment issues. So we're going to go through that energy. So I'm just cautioning everybody to not feel that provocation that others may come and provoke you. And we're going to feel like we need to protect ourselves, or we need to protect our family, and we may feel that somebody's provoking us into getting into a fight, like they're challenging us to get into an argument or a fight. So, just curb that tendency a lot. A lot of us may feel that tendency in November because of this aspect of Mars and Saturn. So control that. Just kind of stay calm. Get a glass of water and not get provoked by it, because if you do get provoked by it and you do start these needless arguments, they can escalate and get out of control within minutes, because that's what Mars likes. It likes to escalate things pretty fast, especially on the anger related issues. Don't forget, Sun is with Mars. Sun represents our ego. So we're going to think that our ego is being challenged, and we're going to get egoistic about certain things. And so that's when we start taking on people because we're thinking that oh, we need to be protective about our ego. How dare somebody say this to us, or about my family, about my home, about my this, about my that, and then we take them on. So fight this tendency. It's going to be pretty much after mid-month of November, we're going to start feeling that way. Fight this tendency. Now, this obviously tendency is going to play out in the world as well. So it doesn't bode well for the ongoing tensions all over the world. It's the mid-month that tension probably is going to take an ugly turn. So Saturn represents the common man, the low-level common man, masses, mobs of people. And Mars represents the armed forces, people that wear uniforms. It could be the police, all the armed forces. So at this time or after mid-month, it's going to be probably a lot of protesting, a lot of harm to the people in uniforms. Like I said, the cops or the army people. A lot of them could get injured. A lot of them could get hurt, and they could actually be a very detrimental phase to them. It could be a very negative impact to people like that. There could be a lot of uprising. The common man could have a lot of protests in a lot of different countries as well. So it's not a good time for the ongoing tensions all over the world. And Mars represents real estate and land. So people are going to be intensifying the wars that are going on for land, because people are fighting for land. Mars represents land. So that's going to probably intensify a little bit more after the middle of the month. So I hate making nasty predictions, unpleasant predictions like that. But that's what those two, when they aspect each other, that's what you could probably expect after the middle of the month. But again, this tendency will also exist in all of us. So all we can do is control our own behavior, at least, right? So that's my guidance to all of you. I'm going to move on to predictions. Aries for November. Aries, Mars, your ascendant ruler, is going to be in the 8th house. Now, this indicates sudden events, but mostly it indicates a time of transformation for you. Now, this transformation could relate to yourself, your physical body. And it also indicates the possibility of any sudden events that occur related to finances as well as your career. The reason for that is Saturn turns direct in your 11th house on November 4th. So there is a good possibility of sudden turn of luck in your career. Any promotion, rewards, or gains that were stalled for a very long time may now materialize. So especially towards the end of the month. Financially also, this could be a rewarding time. However, because Venus is in the 6th house, you need to be extra careful of taking too much debt or loans at this time. Also make sure you don't give out any loans or debts at this time. There may be a problem paying them back. Now, as Rahu progresses in the 12th house over the next 18 months, your expenses will increase. So this is not a good time to take on too much loans, because there's a high expense time that's approaching ahead. So this is a good month financially. Just make sure you make very good financial plans for the future and don't just spend all of it at this time. A word of caution regarding your health is also necessary at this time. Now, those of you that are prone to digestive issues may experience some flare-ups at this time. Watch what you eat very carefully. Because like I said, there's a chance of some digestive issues that occur during this month. But because Jupiter is in the 1st house, it indicates overall good health, general feeling of satisfaction, happiness. So if you do have any health issues, you may recover very easily, but there could be a minor possibility of having some sort of a digestive problem at this time. Jupiter is also now free from the Rahu conjunction, which is the Guru Chandal Yoga in November. So Jupiter's aspect from the 1st house, this is an exceptional one for love relationships, those existing as well as the start of new love relationships. So the single people, this is your moment. Get out, be seen, especially now with Saturn being direct in the 11th house. It's a very good time to socialize, be seen, and activate love relationships if you're single and you're looking for something like that. Also, a lot of Aries will get married this month because of the 5th and 7th house is getting very activated. Some people may get married, some people may make serious commitments at this time as well. Your relationships with children also will be very positive at this time, as also your children will do very well because of the 5th house aspect from Jupiter. Students, this is a wonderful time for you as well, because Jupiter, the significator of education, is aspecting the fifth house of education. Great focus, expansion of knowledge, and also you may make the right choices at the right time and perform really well as well. I just have one guidance for the married Aries, is to watch your anger and aggression within the marriage. Sun and Mars are in the seventh house. So you may have a tendency to be a little bossy and aggressive and with a little bit of anger towards your spouse. So just watch that. Taurus, for November. Taurus, your ascendant ruler, Venus, is in the fifth house and it aspects the 11th house. So that is an excellent indication of good financial gains and rewards. Also, if you're waiting on a promotion at work or salary increases or any other financial rewards, this is a good month for that, because Saturn in your 10th house of career also now turns direct. So any career matters that were at a standstill for the last few months now start moving forward. This is going to be a very, very positive month for Taurus as far as finance and career is concerned. Jupiter is also now free from the Guru Chandal Yoga in the 12th house, which means that Rahu is not with Jupiter anymore. So the expenses, the very high expenses that Taurus was experiencing, probably go down just a little bit. But as far as, since Jupiter is still there, the expenses may still be there, but not as bad as when Rahu was with it. So the expenses go down a little bit, probably get a little bit manageable. But since Jupiter is still in the 12th house, it means expansion in terms of anything related to foreign or overseas matters. So if your career involves anything to do with overseas or foreign entities, this is an absolutely wonderful thing. Also, if you wanted to travel abroad or do anything abroad, like going for studies abroad, this is a wonderful indication of that now. The 12th house also indicates losses or high expenses. And so this is a time when a lot of Taurus people may be tempted to make some real estate transactions. So a lot of you may be tempted to purchase homes or real estate if you haven't done that already. Make sure that you don't get into a very heavy loan or debt situation. Mars and Sun are in the 6th house, which denotes loans and debts. So if you do get into a real estate transaction, make sure that if you get into a loan or a debt situation, it's not so excessive where it's a problem later on. You need to be very cautious with your financial planning at this time as well, because the 12th house, which is the house of losses, is also activated by Jupiter. So any long-term financial planning that you do must be done with care, which includes buying long-term assets such as homes or any other luxury item. Your ascendant ruler Venus has moved into the 5th house. So we're going to talk about relationships a lot. And this is a month where you focus on relationships, especially love relationships, because the 5th house does denote love relationships, also denotes relationships with children if you have any. So this is an extremely positive month where love relationships are concerned. If you're single, you're looking for somebody, this is the month where it looks very promising. So be out there and socialize. Rahu is going to be in the 11th house for Taurus over the next 18 months. And the 11th house, a house of socialization, meeting friends, and generally growing your social circle, network circle. One other thing that Venus in the 5th house is going to do is give you very creative ideas, new ideas. So if you're in any creative field or any artistic field, this month is going to be an exceptional month for you. As far as health is concerned, Mars and Sun, two very powerful energetic planets in your 6th house. So you have nothing to worry about. And the other good thing, because of those planets being there, if you're in any competitive tests or anything to do with competition, you're going to win the competition. Those two planets don't know how to lose. And also, if you have any enemies, you may have victory against those enemies as well. Gemini, for November. Gemini, your ascendant ruler Mercury, is going to be in the 6th house this month. So it's time to take care of your health for some small nagging problems. This is a month where you're going to be a little worried, a little stressed about all the small things in life. Nothing very big is going to happen, but you're just going to stay a little stressed for no reason, most likely. Also, if you're prone to eczema or any kind of skin allergies, this month those might flare up. Also, a little bit of a digestive issues because of the diet that you're eating may also flare up. So you need to be a little cautious of that. Now, as far as career is concerned, Rahu's transit in the 10th house of career is very positive for you, in that you may be very excited and may have already started making big goals on how you want to achieve the very big things in your career. Rahu is going to stay in your 10th house of career for the next 18 months. And this is the time when Gemini is planning big. They're shooting for the biggest thing that they can get. So they're also going to be making, like I said, really, really big goals. And they're going to want to work hard towards manifesting everything that they can in their career. They don't want the small things. They just want to go for big things, big jobs, big titles, and maybe working for big companies. The only guidance I can give you is to make sure that your goals are realistic and you also take action. A lot of times Rahu will let you make goals, but it doesn't let you take the appropriate action to achieve those goals. The other favorable impact is that Jupiter in the 11th house is now free from the impact of the Guru Chandal Yoga, because Rahu has moved away from Jupiter. So this indicates the expansion of financial and material gains and fulfillment of desires. But the condition is always hard work, effort, extra initiatives, because Jupiter from the 11th house aspects the 3rd house of all these very things. So the 3rd house does indicate initiatives, determination, courage. So you have to have very good determination and initiatives, and of course creativity. And so Jupiter will fulfill the financial and material desires in the next few months until May of next year. Also, Saturn in the 9th house means luck is on your side as well. So you overcome difficulties very easily. This is an excellent time for Geminis as far as fulfillment of material desires and financial gains is concerned. Use this time wisely. The 11th house also signifies social and professional networks. This is a very good time to reach into your professional network and ask for any assistance you need in the growth of your career as well. Saturn goes direct and it's in your 9th house, which means that your relationship with your father sees much improvement in case you were previously having some difficulty with it. Now, Mercury in the 6th counsels you to watch your communication in your workplace with co-workers, or there could be some challenging situation that develops. As far as love life is concerned, the first half of the month indicates you need to watch your aggression and your bossy attitude with your loved ones as well as your children. And lastly, for some Geminis, there may be spending related to home-related matters, relocation, renovation, or real estate transactions as well. Cancer for November. Cancer ascendants have been very troubled in their careers due to the placement of Saturn in their 8th house, either due to work pressures or actual job losses made worse in the last 5 to 6 months due to Saturn being retrograde in the 8th house. Here comes a major breakthrough for a lot of Cancers, because now Saturn will go direct, and some of the challenges in their careers and professions will ease up a little bit. In fact, those Cancers that were looking for a new job due to a loss of a job previously, now's a good time. You may actually find a job at this time. Also, Cancers that were experiencing issues in their marital relationships or relationships issues with in-laws can also see a more positive change now. The other very positive transit is that Jupiter is been in your 10th house of career, but it was involved in a Guru Chandal Yoga, which meant that Rahu was in conjunction with Jupiter. And now finally it's freed from the Guru Chandal Yoga as Rahu transits to your 9th house. And so now you may feel a less of a stress in your workplace. In fact, you may start to even feel that those people at work that were working maybe against you, or people that weren't cooperating with you at work, all those kind of issues may suddenly disappear. These new planetary developments, which is Saturn going direct in your 8th house, as well as the break of the Guru Chandal Yoga in your house of career, are very positive for Cancer as far as your career and your income are concerned. At the same time, I'm going to caution Cancer that Saturn is still in your 8th house, so tread very carefully at work and don't take chances. Mars and Sun are going to be in your fourth house at the beginning of the month, so you can expect some challenges in your home or your domestic environment where you're going to take on a bossy attitude and you may have a slight bit of temper. You need to manage that, and also you need to balance your work and personal life. Cancer does have stress at work, but it doesn't mean you take it out at the people that live in your home or your domestic environment. You may also have the tendency to take out some of this aggression at family members at home. So watch out that you don't hurt their feelings and try to manage the work-life balance as best as you can. After the middle of the month, it's a great time to do some financial planning, especially related to investments. It's also a very good time to manage your expenses. And by that, I mean that if you have any loans pending or any debt pending, it's an excellent time to pay it off if you can, because Jupiter does aspect the sixth house of loans. But it's not a good time to take on new loans, because those, if you take them on now, you may have trouble paying them off later, or they may go on for a very long time, longer than you originally planned to. Also not a good idea to give out loans to other people, because there's a very good chance that they don't get paid back, or they don't get paid back in time. As far as health is concerned, this is a month where you probably don't have to worry about your health. Jupiter aspects the sixth house of health, so there is nothing to worry about. Leo for November. Leo, this month your ascendant lord, the sun, transits between the third and the fourth houses. So this indicates that some of you may have short travels in the first half of the month, or something to do with your siblings. In the second half of the month, you're going to be very occupied with matters of your home and domestic environment. Also, possibly some Leos will have some real estate transactions, because both of these houses indicates real estate transactions, buying and selling of real estate, especially when the planet Mars gets involved in those two houses. Of course, all Leos are not going to have real estate transaction this month, so both these houses are relationship-based houses. So the third house indicates relationships with siblings, and the fourth house relates to relationships within the four walls of your house or your domestic relationships. So this is the theme of this month, is where you may even travel to meet your siblings, or there could actually be a very disturbed issue within your siblings because of the fact that Sun and Mars are now in your third house. So there could actually be some disturbance in the relationship with your siblings, and they could actually be due to real estate issues as well. Of course, this only applies to some Leos, definitely not all Leos. Talking about your career, this is a very good month for your career. It offers some good growth and offers also very good visibility in your job, because the sun will move into the fourth house and aspect the 10th house, especially after mid-month. This is an exceptional time for those individuals that are in the fields of IT, social media, sales, and also those that are involved in the real estate industry. This is an exceptional time for you. You're going to be very visible especially to your seniors during this time. So be on your best behavior, do accurate work, and always look presentable at all times, so you don't lose any good opportunity that comes along. Financially, this is a very positive time for financial gains. You could get gains via your job and career, as well as through some family matters as well. Some of you may be tempted to spend on a luxury item like a car or real estate, which I've mentioned before, or some of you may be actually tempted to do some renovation at work, or spend on home decor, redecorating type expenses as well. And this is especially after mid-month. Health is good this month. There's no reason for you to worry. Jupiter aspects the first house from its fifth aspect, and so this usually gives very good magnetism, good aura, good energy. Also aspects the fifth house, which is the house of good health and recovery, so no worries on the health front. As far as relationships are concerned, those are going to have to be managed. I've already mentioned the relationship with siblings, but I also mean after the second half of the month, when the Sun and Mars come into the fourth house, there could be some anger, aggression issues within the home environment. So manage that. And also Saturn being in the seventh house, even though it's now going direct, may have a little bit of disturbance in the marriage. So manage that as well. Virgo for November. Virgo, your ascendant Lord Mercury will be in the third house of courage, determination, and initiatives, which is what you will need in order to succeed in everything that you want to accomplish this month. The third house also indicates travel and siblings. So you may enjoy a very pleasant time with your siblings, or you may also enjoy short travels this month, possibly. Now, Venus is in the first house, which makes your primary focus this month to be your relationships, family, and even finance. You may have to be the support system for your family. You may also have to provide in some way financially for your family. But don't worry, luck will be on your side because Venus for you rules the house of luck, which is the ninth house. Coming into your ascendant house is actually an indication of luck being on your side. So for you, November is a very positive month. It's also a very happy month. You just need to make all the right efforts to enjoy this happiness, and because luck will also support you this month. Now, the same applies to your career. It's a positive month. As long as you make efforts and work hard in your career, you will see results. Now, any issues with coworkers that you've had in the past will now disappear. And the reason for that is Saturn, that was retrograde in your sixth house, is going to go direct this month. So any issues in the workplace that you've had in the past or that was stalled previously will now start moving forward, and you will start enjoying a much better time in your career. If you were feeling burdened or you had a lot of pressure on you in the workplace, it kind of eases up a little bit. From a financial perspective, this month is going to be a little better because in prior months, your expenses were very high due to your 12th house being very active, but now your second house gets very activated. The second house indicates savings. So this time, there's a chance of your savings growing rather than your expenses growing. Your past efforts will benefit you financially, and now there's a good chance of increasing your savings or getting a better return on your work and increasing your income as well. Mercury in the third house enhances communication skills. So this is a great month if you need to utilize your communication skills to either make deals, get into contracts, or do any kind of other negotiation. Use this time wisely and communicate where you need to in order to get any kind of benefit that you need. So this is also a very positive time if you're interested in writing something, either a book or a blog or any article. This is a great month to do that. I need to caution you on your health. You need to monitor your diet really well. The food you eat may give you digestive issues, especially stay away from spicy foods this month. Also, those individuals that are prone to asthma or diabetes should also watch their diets because these type of health issues may get aggravated this month as well. Virgo has Saturn in the sixth house, which is now going direct, and the sixth house, it relates to health issues. So the best remedy I can give to Virgo is to make sure you follow a regular physical exercise regimen during the week. Make sure you follow it consistently. And so it doesn't need to be very heavy exercise or going to the gym. It could also mean light yoga or just going for a walk, but this should take care of any health problems that you may have in the future. Libra for November. Libra, your ascendant ruler Venus is going to be in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is one of expenses, spirituality, and solitude. So, Libra, this could be an expensive month for you. Now, these expenses could be sudden. They could also be very unplanned as well. This could also be related to foreign trips for some Libras because the 12th house does relate to things foreign. This is a month where you will prefer to be in solitude by yourself rather than with a lot of people. Also, my guidance to you is to take care of your health. There is the possibility of sudden health issues developing. Also, you may be a little accident prone this month, so be very cautious in your day-to-day activities as well as your driving. Also, don't attempt anything risky or adventurous. Even though this is an expensive month, it's still going to be good for your finances. We'll talk about that. Career. Now, Saturn is going direct in your fifth house, and this means that any promotions, financial gains, or other benefits in your career that had been stalled over the last several months can finally start moving forward. This is especially favorable in terms of financial prospects. Jupiter will be free from the Guru Chandal Yoga that had been going on in your 7th house, and so it aspects the 11th house of gains, which is very favorable in terms of financial and material gains, and that's until April of next year. This also means that you may have to work very hard for these financial rewards, but if you do, expect very good benefits in return. This is also a favorable time for marital relationships. Now, Libra has had a very challenging phase the last several months because Jupiter has been in the 7th house with the Rahu conjunct with it, creating the Guru Chandal Yoga in the 7th house of marriage. Now that Rahu has left the conjunction of Jupiter, gone into the 6th house, and now Jupiter is free to give its very benefic results from the 7th house. So you can expect relief and happier times in your marriage now. The best impact of Rahu in the 6th house is that if you take part in any competitions or you're competing with anybody at work for any promotions or any competitive issues going on, you're sure to win them, because whenever Rahu goes into the 6th house, it always makes an individual win against either enemies or against any competition. So this is a favorable transit for you. Rahu in the 6th house gives very, very good results. Now, Jupiter alone in the 7th house of marriage also gives you very good results as far as your marriage is concerned. The 7th house also indicates business ownership. So if you are a business owner, you can now expect good profitability as well as good growth in your business. There is, however, one guidance that I do want to give you, especially for the first half of the month. Mars and Sun is going to be in your ascendant house, so it kind of gives you an attitude of a little bit of bossiness and also maybe some rage and anger along with some ego issues. Make sure you control that. You don't take it out on your family. You don't take it out on your wife or even at work. As long as you can control that attitude, this is going to be a very pleasant, very happy, very prosperous, and very career successful month for you. Scorpio for November. Scorpio, your ascendant ruler Mars will be in conjunction with the Sun in your 12th house the first half of the month. Then both Mars and Sun transit to your own ascendant house in the middle of the month. So the theme for the first half of the month is going to be very different than the theme from the second half of the month. Now, the first half of the month, the theme will be on expenses, because the 12th house does indicate losses and expenses. So you may indulge in some impulsive spending, and some of you even may do some foreign travels. The 12th house does indicate foreign travels. Also, those Scorpios that were looking to relocate for their career, especially long distance or even overseas, this could be the month that happens for you. Now, Saturn is going direct now in the 4th house. So all career matters that were at a standstill previously will now start moving forward, especially if those related to either getting a new job or related to relocating for your current job or even for a new job. For those Scorpios whose careers relate to anything to do with foreign entities or anything to do with overseas, this is a very positive time in your career because of the Lord of your career, which is the Sun, goes into the 12th house, which is the house of all things foreign. So incredibly positive time for all those individuals that are somehow connected in their careers to all things overseas or foreign. I've mentioned that this is a very positive time for Scorpio and their career. But remember, Saturn is still in the 4th house, even though it is direct now. So the work pressure is still going to be there. You're still going to be expected to work very hard, and you're still going to feel a lot of the work tension and work pressure. So even though it's favorable and you may start seeing results of your hard work, the work pressure is still going to be on you. Now, I will mention that the second half of the month is so much more favorable in terms of the career growth, advancement, especially recognition in the workplace when the Sun does move into your ascendant house. So if you were waiting for promotion, getting a new job, then the possibility and the timing for it is in the second half of the month. Financially, I've already mentioned that your expenses are going to be a little bit out of control in the first half of the month, so plan accordingly. Those expenses could be quite impulsive and unnecessary. Also, the first half of the month is not so favorable in terms of your health. You could feel a lot more stressed, and also you could have some headaches as well during this time. So take care of your health as well as the health of your mother, because don't forget Saturn is in the fourth house of the mother. So this is a time when you nurture your relationship with your mother as well as take good care of your mother's health. Lastly, we talk about relationships, which is not going to be very appealing this month. Venus is going to be in the 12th house, Saturn is in the 4th house, which indicates a lack of understanding between your partners and yourself. So you're going to have a very tough time maintaining the work-life balance because you're stressed about your work. You're probably not going to have a lot of time to devote to relationships, and you're going to have a tendency to argue and fight and maybe have some disturbance within the home environment. Make sure you take the time out to nurture the relationships at home and avoid any disputes and stress at home. Rahu has just transited into the 5th house. So if you're a student or you're pursuing any education, this can cause a disturbance because it can cause confusion, lack of focus, and also lack of determination in pursuing your studies. Do your best to fight that energy and maintain your focus. Sagittarius for November. Sagittarius, your ascendant ruler Jupiter is continuing to stay retrograde at this time in your 5th house. Now, although the positive news is that it is now free from the Guru Chandal Yoga, which is the conjunction of Jupiter with Rahu, because now Rahu has moved to your 4th house. So while Jupiter in the 5th house is an excellent placement, its retrograde situation is still going to delay the benefic impact until the end of this year. Saturn is now turning direct in the 3rd house, which means that you start to feel lots of work pressure and responsibility to perform well in your career. You may need to take on new initiatives and think of new ideas on how best you can do the best in your career moving forward. The positive news is that luck will be on your side this month with Venus in your house of career. So it's advisable to establish and develop your relationships in the workplace. Make sure that not only do you work harder, but also you take the time to focus on relationships at work. This will benefit you in the next few months and in the long run. Saturn's direct motion in the 3rd house is very favorable for people that are employed in communications industry, in the IT industry, in the travel industry, and also for all those individuals that get paid on a commission basis, because the 3rd house indicates all those things. And so Saturn's direct movement now indicates a very positive time for those people. This is also a very positive time for Sagittarians that were looking for a new job. This is a lucky month for you. So this might be the month where you get a new job as well. Financially, it's an okay month. There's a tendency for you to spend this month, but it's also a very positive time to do some financial planning or make some investment decisions for the future as well. The first half of the month is very positive as well as lucky in terms of financial gains due to the sun being in the 11th house of gains and Jupiter aspecting it from the 5th house. So there's a chance you're going to make some very good investment decisions during this time. Health is not a concern for Sagittarius this month. Jupiter in the 5th house, which is the house of good health and energy. So it's a very healthy, energetic month for you. Also, Jupiter in the 5th house indicates happy love relationships as well as good relationships with your children. In fact, your children may do really well as well. If you're looking for love, this is a very positive month for that as well. If you're a student or pursuing education, a retrograde Jupiter in the 5th house at this time may make you want to redo or need to redo some line of your study or some part of your educational program. So my guidance to you is to work accurately, carefully, and with full focus so you won't need to either repeat or redo any of your work assignments in the future. Speaking of relationships in the marriage or with family, in the second half of the month, the Sun and Mars will move to the 12th house. So you're maybe prone to a little bit of ego or anger issues within the marriage as well as with family members. Try your best to control the anger and the ego issues and don't get into arguments with the key critical people in your life. It could be damaging in the long run. Capricorn for November. Capricorn, your ascendant ruler Saturn is finally turning direct in your second house. In lots of ways, this is very positive. The second house denotes family and finance, so definitely there's going to be some forward movement in both those areas of your life. The positive news is that Rahu has now transited to your third house, which is an excellent placement for Rahu. The combined transit placements of these two planets, Saturn and Rahu, indicate that with your effort and hard work and renewed energy, you will and should take on new initiatives in your career. You could make new goals, you should make new goals, and simply start something new. It would be the perfect time for that. Ketu in the ninth indicates your luck via your dharma and spirituality. You could stay close to your divine and ask for their blessings and move forward. This is the time of good luck to make the plans for starting something new. Financially, this month can be quite positive, more so in the second half of the month. You will enjoy great visibility at work, so make sure you don't do anything at work that makes you look bad, because it will be noticed as well. There may be a tendency to have an aggressive attitude or ego in the workplace. Make sure you control that, or it can take a very damaging impact, and that too very suddenly. Now, communication is going to be very critical this month, so make sure it's professional at all times. And this is for verbal as well as written communication. Make sure you make no errors in the workplace and let there be no misunderstandings in the workplace. So communication is going to be extremely critical during this month. Relationships at home are a little improved over the last several months. I know Capricorn has been burdened with a lot of family responsibilities. So you're still very burdened with a lot of family responsibility, but there may be some improvement and relief this month onwards in how you handle them or your attitude towards them, because Saturn is going direct in your second house. As far as relationships are concerned, there could be a bit of an ego struggle at home. So try your best to control your mood and make sure you understand the other person or what they're trying to say. There could be also a struggle between the work-life balance, because you have so many responsibilities at work as well as at home. So a lot of Capricorn may have trouble managing the work-life balance. As far as health is concerned, it's not much of a concern, just a bit of maybe some Capricorns may get an eye infection or inflammation. And some of you may have some dental issues, but otherwise health is not a concern. Aquarius for November. Aquarius, your ascendant ruler, Saturn turns direct in your ascendant house, which is very positive news for you, because Aquarius has been negatively impacted by the retrograde motion of Saturn for the last several months. So they may have had to struggle with lots of body aches, spine and neck issues, as well as feelings of lethargy and even depression in some cases over the last few months. But now, when Saturn goes direct, Aquarius starts to feel a little better and has more energy, and their mood seems to lift and become happier. As far as career is concerned, their lucky time starts during the second half of the month, when Mars and Sun transit to the 10th house of career. Now for Aquarius, Mars rules their house of career. So Aquarius has renewed energy and enthusiasm to start working hard in their jobs, in their career, or even in their businesses, to start new things or take on new initiatives. Whatever they start now will definitely be very rewarding financially, as well as in terms of position and status over the next few months. The only requirement is that Aquarius needs to work very hard and put in good effort, a good amount of effort. And the reason for that is because Saturn is in the first house and it does aspect the house of career, which is the 10th house. Now, additionally, Rahu has just moved to the second house. The second house denotes finance and family. So the next several months, 18 months to be exact, will be a time of financial growth for Aquarius. Rahu always expands the house that it sits in. So for Aquarius, this is a time of expansion of their finances or financial growth. But it's going to be, this financial growth is going to be the result of their hard work due to Saturn's placement in the first house. As far as relationships are concerned for Aquarius, there's a lot of improvement in those as well. If compared to the prior months, in the prior months, the relationship had suffered due to the Guru Chandal Yoga in the third house. But now, since Rahu has transited to the second house, Jupiter is now free from this Guru Chandal Yoga in the third house. And so the benefic aspects of Jupiter will impact their spouse and marriage, which is the seventh house. So they can expect much more improved relationship with their spouse as well. They can expect some happier times in the marriage. As far as health is concerned, I've already kind of mentioned that they may experience some recovery and improvement and rejuvenation in their health issues. But Aquarius, you need to remember that Saturn is still in your ascendant house. So while there is now much improvement over the last few months, the burden of responsibility and some of the aches and pains in your body may still continue because Saturn does stay in your ascendant house for a while. Pisces for November. Pisces, your ascendant ruler Jupiter is still in retrograde motion in your second house. The second house denotes finance, family, and speech. It also denotes the food that you eat. This month, there can be a slight improvement in your financial situation due to the fact that Jupiter is now free from the Guru Chandal Yoga in the second house, because Rahu has transited to its new zodiac of your own ascendant house. So now Rahu is in your own ascendant house. Due to this, now Pisces can expect some improvement in their career and financial situation. Your relationships with your co-workers may improve if you were experiencing any issues previously. For the Pisces that were looking for a new job, this month is very favorable for that as well. In fact, due to Saturn going direct in the 12th house, some Pisces may even have to relocate for their job, and there's a possibility to relocate to a foreign country, also if that's what you desire. Financially, your expenses are still very high, and that is because Saturn is in the 12th house of expenses. So you may end up spending whatever you are earning. This is a month of sudden events because your 8th house is getting very activated due to the presence of Sun and Mars in the 8th house in the beginning of the month. These sudden events could relate to your health or your finances. So make sure you control your spending as much as you can. You also need to take care of your health this month as far as immunity, stress. And you may experience some pain in your legs and joints. So this is a time when you want to manage your stress as much as you can. Relationships may also test you this month because there's a lack of harmony that's in your relationships at this time. Don't do or say hurtful things because it can be very damaging for a long time. So this actually applies to your marital relationships as well as all family relationships, because of the 8th house and the 12th house being very activated for Pisces. This month there's going to be a little bit of a challenge in your health as well as your relationships. Also, the guidance is to spend very cautiously. Like I said, the 12th house of expenses is high. Also, investments, you need to be very careful with investments because both when the 8th and the 12th house are activated, the chance of loss becomes incredibly high. So I would guard against any new investments at this time, especially if you're a business owner. Now is probably not a good month to make any investments. Probably the next future months would be a little better. Also, your ascendant lord is retrograde in the second house of finance. So your major concern at this time should just be watch your finances very carefully and your health as well. This brings me to the end of my video. I hope everybody has a wonderful month of November. Goodbye for now. See you